waiting.
Now
We
are live.
Live, Jose. We are here.
Hello.
Hi, Jose. How are you today?
I'm very good.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the world? Because every single person in the world is watching.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm Jose. I'm a senior developer at Thoughtbot. I joined Thoughtbot 1 year ago, and I'm based in London, but currently in sunny Madrid, just to watch the final of the Euro against England and celebrate, hopefully.
Originally, we were speaking yesterday about this. I was going to wear my England shirt and you were going to wear your Spain shirt to kind of create some rivalry for Sunday. But yeah, we decided against that, only because Jose didn't have his Spain shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
We weren't able to do that.
I couldn't find one. I told you, like, they are out of stock everywhere, actually.
Oh, because it's that popular.
Yeah. Now, like, everyone is on. Yeah, like, come on, Spain, you can do it. At the beginning, it was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now everyone is going crazy.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good.
Yeah, it will be a good match, for sure.
I'm surprised you've only been at Thoughtbot a year. It feels like more, in a good way.
Okay. I was about to ask you. Thank you, Rob.
No worries.
Yeah. It's been a
so I guess I should introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Rob Whittaker. I'm a developer and director of software development for our Europe, West Asia and Africa team, which Jose is a part of. I've been at Thoughtbot for 7.5 years, originally in their London studio, but during the pandemic, we decided that we were going to go fully remote. So now I live near Manchester. I live in a place that's famous for being the home of Harry Styles. That is our claim to fame, and I say it every single time I introduce myself to anybody. We got our first comment. Hey, Burke. I don't know how to pronounce that. Burke. So, hi, nice to meet you.
Nice.
Feel free to drop stuff in the comments. We are following along, and so
I'm gonna
say hi. You can join the chat from StreamYard as well, Jose. I think.
I think I need to connect my YouTube account actually.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that.
So today, I should really boot it up. Let's see. Let's see. I thought it was going to make me sign into Heroku then and everything. Okay, so I have this website that when the dynos boot up. So this here is a website that I.
Are you sharing in Thoughtbot?
Oh, yeah, sorry. That's a good point. We're getting used to this. This is the first time we've done this. Thank you, Jose.
Yes,
right,
okay.
Let's press this button. So, lovely. Thank
Nice.
you. Oh, you see this. I don't want you to see that. Let's get rid of this then. Right, okay. So, I have this website. This is the first proper Rails application I made many, many years ago. It's very much based on agile web development with Rails, 2nd edition. And it's an e-commerce site for my friend's mum. Used to make jams and sell them. And so she wanted to be able to sell them online. And so I created an application where she could put like events that she's going to. She could see, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We have our
first one we need to ask.
There'll be plenty. And then we have products that they could create, and there's an actual so you can see the product, you can add it to basket. There's loads of things in here that are like many years ago, because what you might notice is you can't set the price, and I have no idea why I never put a price field on here. And so and it's very 10 years ago. I think I originally made this website, so that's kind of got that feel.
It looks cool, old school, I have to say. But it's nice. Very sweet website.
Nice. So yeah, outlets was like places where you could put stuff, but you can see there's different patterns, because in some places you can add stuff from here. Other places there's an admin panel and things like that. So what else was I going to say about this? Yeah, so there's plenty of stuff that kind of, and it uses Twitter Bootstrap version 2 underneath for its styling framework. So I plan to work with some of our designers to kind of see, can we use components to make this more like modern and stuff like that. I do have a whole bunch of. Did I share the Trello board with you? Let me.
No, not yet. Just one thing as well. I think you're sharing in StreamYard, but not in Tuple, so I cannot write in your screen when I want to point out something.
Cool.
There you go. Nice.
Thank you.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Right. Let me see what things. Let me put things over there. Right. I should have this prepared, but
we are working live. Like if we were just jumping into it. Nothing is prepared here.
No, this is how we are. So this is a Trello board, which is public. So when it's public, I don't actually know if you can move stuff or not on this.
Okay.
So,
you want to share the link with me?
Yeah, I'll put it. Where should I put it? Should I stick it in Slack? Where's the best place to send stuff? Can I?
We have like a chat also in StreamYard.
Yeah, but I think that goes out to like YouTube and stuff.
Oh,
Let me do it here quickly. There's nothing sensitive here. There better be nothing sensitive in what I've been saying to you in the company Slack. It's pretty interesting. Nobody look. Okay.
Nice. Okay, let me try to open and see if I can actually move things. For example, okay, fix the circle AI warning. No, I cannot move it.
Okay,
it says that it's view only.
Perfect, and it's exactly how I want it to be. Okay, so like on here, I've got like a whole bunch of stuff that I've been noticing, like as I've been trying to do things. And what I'm trying to do is bring this site in line with modern best practices, mainly with Suspenders. So Suspenders is, let me get it up, because why don't I show them to tell him?
Let's do some promotion of Suspenders, because we recently updated actually. So
tell the people.
There you go. So we have Suspenders. It's a race engine. Configured by Thoughtbot actually, and we recently updated to the last versions of, I think, everything. Yeah, Rails 7.0, Ruby 3.1, and then Node 20. So yeah.
So this is there's a brand new version of 3.0 of Suspenders. Steve Polito has been working really hard to make this more modular. So it used to be pre-version 3 that you'd only run Suspenders against a new Rails app, but now with the use of generators, you can use it on an existing Rails app. So there's several tasks that are available that you can run against this, but that's kind of as a tool, but it's very much Thoughtbot's opinions on things that you would use in a Rails app. So I think somewhere there is a document that says the gems. So there's a features MD. So features MD, you can see like all the things that we turn on. So like there's various tasks and things and settings we set in the different configurations.
Like the configuration, exactly.
And stuff like that. So it's kind of like our little opinion. We are trying to keep it as close to Rails as possible. So there's some interesting discussions in here, like how do we want to handle linting? How do we want to handle code auditoring? How do we want to handle CI now that Rails has more of an opinion about these things? So it's interesting. It's worth keeping an eye on. So at the moment, I've created a lot of the backlog of this is kind of stuff from previous versions of Suspenders that are kind of like, so trying to bring it up in line. Oh, we have Demeter, former Thoughtbotter, is in the chat as well.
Hello, Demeter.
Hi, Demeter. So the thing that I've got at the moment is that we use Skylight as our default for, let me just just move this window over here because I just want to make sure that I'm not showing anything sensitive when I do this next bit. Okay. So we use something called Skylight to give us monitoring of our applications. Is this the right one? Yeah, okay. So this is for this application. So you can see you can see where we've just been clicking around on the page. And you can set it up for different environments, and you can set it up for web or workers. And I've just got it set up for production web, which is what I want. But what I noticed, again, I'm just going to put this sensitive window over here. When I was building the review apps for my pull requests, for example, this one, in the logs, can you show me view latest build? Yeah, okay. In here, I noticed that. Let me see if I can zoom this because that's okay.
Yeah, a bit better. Yes.
I bet it's not even happening in here. Here. So in the review apps, it was saying, warn, you are running in the production environment, but I haven't added it to config. That's Skylight. And I was like, well, the review apps are kind of production, but I don't want Skylight to be enabled here. But I do. And so it's like, okay, so I had a look at the docs, and there is a config you can set called Skylight enabled.
Okay.
So on all the review apps, I've set Skylight to disabled. So Skylight enabled is equal to false.
Okay.
So this is actually, I had to do some deep diving to find out what was going on here. So let me show you.
So this is what we are doing right now, right? So this is the goal.
Yeah.
The
goal is to get rid of this message.
Okay. To get rid of
and I have done some previous investigation here, so I'll lead you. I'll kind of take you on the journey I've been down.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So there's a cool thing where you can open the gems in your gem file by doing bundle open.
Yes. Nice. Yeah. Actually, so you know who showed me that command?
Who's that?
Dimitar.
Nice.
He was the one who taught me that actually.
Dimitar is Crack of Dusk for those of you on the Twitch channel.
Exactly, yeah.
So there's a file in here called user config. And this user config, so it allows you to set a disable dev warning, which I think folks might have seen. You can see this in your development environment. But there's also this one where it says disable env warning. And what I found by looking at the rail tie is this. So what I did was I searched in the code base for the error message.
Okay.
That we are seeing, the warning that we're seeing
the
here.
Warning
so this is
in the building of the review app. Okay.
So I found that and I was like, okay, well, it's activated. It's not activated because I've set the environment variable. Can we see what this? So this. Oh, that's. So the activate exists in Skylight, and we're in Skylight core. It's kind of a bit muddled, but so I've got an environment variable set to false. So it'll go, okay, well, am I in the Rails? Am I in the development environment? And because Heroku app runs, we want people to zoom in my terminal more. Let me do this.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, I think, let's keep going. I can do more. Tell me if I need more. Thank you for.
Oh, George is also joining. Hello, George.
So many thought about it. Okay, cool. So Heroku says that Heroku runs in production mode for Rails, and so our review app thinks it's not development, so it doesn't go in there.
So it goes
and
here.
It's not test, so it goes in here. So then it checks for this value: config user config disable env warning, and that's what led me down to. Okay, well, where's that set? And so I eventually found what did I do? Let's take it back a step. So then
you went down to the rabbit hole.
Yeah. I searched if I searched for disable env warning. And so I was like looking in here and I was like, oh, all the references seem to be in this user config file.
Yeah.
So that's what led me to here. And then I started looking at, okay, why? How do I set this value? How do I disable this env warning?
Yeah.
So, and then so what I did is I played with this. So what I did was I said, right, if I go back to my environment, so this is on my local machine. What I did was, I'll tell you why I did this. I ran rake assets precompile, and this is an older Rails app. And so some of you might not know about Spring, but it always used to get in the way. It kind of it auto loads your environment, and nowadays we tend not to use it as much because we have things like Zeitwerk and those sort of things that will auto load for you. But back years ago, that didn't exist, and so we use something called Spring. But what it does is it caches a lot of stuff. So especially with me changing the bundled gem of Skylight core, it was important for me. I have to stop Spring so it stops that cache. And so that's what I have to do there. But the reason I ran asset precompile is because that's the job that's being ran that causes this warning.
Okay. So that
Sorry,
okay.
You're leaning in, which means this is too small. Right. There.
Okay.
So that gives us this warning.
That led to the warning. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That rake command. Yeah.
But if I run this now, I get some other warnings which I have a card about. So we don't get the same warning. So that's running fine. But the reason we aren't getting that warning is because we're in development mode.
Okay.
But I can change the gem because I'm that powerful. So I change that. So it says, and save it. And then now I spring stop to ensure that we're not using a preloaded version of the gem, and then do the same job. So now, if we cross everything, we should get the same error message. Yeah, look, we have the same error message.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
The gem warning.
Yeah.
So what we can do now, so this window's a little bit, right, okay, I just want to make sure this whole window's in. Okay. If I full screen this, it's available to everybody can see it. Let's find out. Yeah, that's better. Let's full screen it. Yeah. So now I can go here and I can go, okay, well, I don't know what's going on here. So let's do a binding.pry.
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's have a look. And so again, do the same thing. I've seen some great talks on the debugger recently. And there's a guy called Stan Lowe who's been doing loads of stuff on the debug gem, which is part of Ruby core, which means I think that in newer versions, you can just put debug instead of binding.pry.
Okay, I never use it actually, debug.
Yeah.
I tend to use binding.irb actually instead of pry.
So I think like nowadays, they're much and muchness, there'll be some nuances, but I think debug will get you most of the way.
Okay.
Well, when I've tried it on new apps, I found I probably don't need to include pry bybug anymore. So now I have access to everything here. So I can do config. So now I've got a Skylight config thing, and I've got some values and stuff like that. And it knows the development environment. But then, I want to do config.u. What's user config? So now we've got this config class, user config class that we must have passed the config object to. So that we've got that instance variable there. But what else you'll notice is this. What's this?
Skylight.
So now,
okay.
So it's looking for a file.
A dot file, like a dot skylight file.
Yes. And so that kind of makes sense. So if I look, where am I? So where am I is a cool little trick to take you back to where you were in the code, and it so reloads all this for you.
Yeah.
So I think what I want to do is I want to go to step. What happens if I step? Let's find out. So I kind of want to go into user config, but I don't want to go there. So I want to go to the next thing that happens. If I just, this probably isn't going to do what I want to do. Okay. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come out of that. Sorry, I am going a bit fast. Let me stop. So what I wanted it to do is I wanted it to come into here, because what I wanted to see is when we create the user config, or when Skylight creates it has a config, which we saw in the debugger, and we had the file path, which is set to nil, and then it reloads. And so that was the interesting part for me. It was like, okay, well, it's doing something. Yeah. And so we're doing this method down here. Yeah. And then that's where I see this disable env warning for the first time. So it must be loading that from somewhere. So if we do binding.pry.
Well, we saw it, right? I guess this is your .rob Skylight file.
Let's find out. Let's find out together.
Let's go.
We can assume, or we can.
I'm getting nervous. I want to find out.
We have the technology. We can do this. Okay. So here we can do file path.
Exactly. Nice.
So it's that. Okay. And then we can do just file.exist file path.
Yes.
And it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Because I haven't got anything in my home directory called .skylight.
Okay.
And also, so this ternary will return false, because it's like return false. So and then it'll just return. So it won't load anything. So I could create a .skylight file, but this is only through pure chance. If I go to skylight.io and go to support, I saw somewhere.
But one question, even if you create the skylight.file, let's say, like how would that resolve the problem in the review app? Like,
okay,
how can the review app find that file? Like we will have to load it or something like that, right?
Okay, so let's go back a step. Let's prove that setting that environment variable in that dot file in my home directory will resolve that issue.
Okay, let's do it.
So if I got an editor here, I do not. Okay, so if I go to if I edit the skylight.yaml and go and then disable env warning true. Thank you, Copilot. Okay, so now, in theory, what we'll do is let's leave that binding there. And so let's let's try to precompile our assets.
Okay.
So the file path, what's the file path? What do we think the file path is going to be?
You just created it, no? Like in your user.
Yeah, so
okay.
So it's still .skylight. Yeah. So does it exist? Oh, that's weird. I realized. I call it .skylight.yaml.
Okay.
Instead of just
.skylight. So it's just a skylight. Okay, yeah. Go for it.
Move. This is one of my favorite tricks. I think it's this eggshell thing. It's like a shortcut. It's nice.
I would have renamed it like that.
Because instead of having to write.
Yeah, exactly.
I can just do that. And so, yeah, it's really cool. So now, if I try and precompile.
Okay, let's see.
So, file path. Right, we're happy with that. File.exist. File. True.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, YAML.load file path.
Nice.
So look, we now have our hash. Okay, so let's do, if we go to the next line, so we know that config's something, so it won't return because it's unless. So if we go to next, and let's see what config disable dev warning. So that's nil. And so do you know about this bang bang trick?
Bang bang. Now will be, I think it's converting it to a Boolean.
Yeah, it's I don't see this very often nowadays. But it used to be like, if you want to turn any value into a guaranteed Boolean, you do a bang bang. So this will make sure that it is a Boolean. And then if we do config disable end warning, that's true. And if you bang bang a true, it'll first be false, and then it'll be true again. So I'm happy that if we continue and let the code run, we shouldn't see our warning.
Yeah. Nice.
So the warning's gone. Yeah, thank you. So now we just get something about Yarn because I haven't got something installed locally. Okay.
Very cool.
You raised a good question before. How would we do this for the review apps? How would we let them know? So let me think about how I can show you this. I can show you this. So if I go to, let's have a look at, which app is this? 520, okay. Heroku apps. So if I do Heroku run Rails console for Radford's QA PR 520. Is it 520? Yeah, 520 for this app. So I want to run the Rails console on that application where we have this warning. And so I know that I can access the Skylight config by doing this. So there's our and then you should be able to do user config. No, that's correct. What you'll notice here in this, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that under the hood, it sets it to config Skylight YAML.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Why didn't our local thing do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I get it says also environment production, so I guess maybe the config file for production, like it goes through a different path in this case, and it goes to the Skylab YAML that you need to set up for the review apps.
So I went round and round on this, and it's because, excuse me, the thing we're running, when we run rake assets precompile, it's not loading, it's not running all the rail tie.
Okay.
So what it isn't doing is it's not running this file, which then loads the configuration.
Okay.
Or something isn't happening in a way that in the order that we expect. So what happens is that when this looks for the user config path here, it defaults to something else because it hasn't been set yet. So it defaults to, can I show you? Does it exist here? Yes. So that, yeah, you can see that there are some defaults in here, if I remember.
Default.
I can't remember if it says it in here.
So this is the core config, okay.
Yeah, so I noticed on the left you've got user config, and on the right you've got config. All these are environment variables that are prefixed with Skylight _.
Okay. Okay.
So I noticed this. I've forgotten how I noticed this, but I noticed this, that it was setting it to a different value. So now I know that if I move .skylight to config skylight.yaml,
Okay.
then it should work, right? Because it's
If you push it, yeah, okay.
But what we see is that.
Nothing. Okay.
So if we do file path,
Yeah.
it still expects it to be .skylight.
Exactly.
So we need to tell it that it's going to be .skylight because the various Rails things haven't run yet to set it to config skylight.yaml.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've seen in, sorry, wrong editor, in here is that, we can set this user config path here. So I should be slower.
No, don't worry.
So what I've seen is, no, okay. So if I do user, so what I can do is this. So the main difference is here is I'm setting this environment variable. Yeah, let's underline it together before running that.
Okay. So you are just telling, okay, when you run this, set up this environment variable.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And what I'm going to check in a second is that. So yeah, I'm just going to continue here. Oh, let's actually do that. So now I can check the file path. It's pointing to config.skylight, and so we can do the whole.
So if you
file.exist, does it exist? Because we moved it. Yep. YAML.load file path. We get that. So now we know it's loading.
Nice.
So, and we don't get our warning, which is the key thing. So, if we look at, I need to undo. Where did I put that binding.pry? Okay. So, I'm running on an old version of Bundler because it's just out of date. In newer versions of Bundler, I think you can run bundle pristine and then a gem name, and it'll download it again and reset it to what it should be. So it'll get rid of those it'll get rid of those things, those changes you've made. Because the other change we made was this.
Well, of course, yeah. I forgot.
So now, okay. Let's foreground that. Let's go back to here. Okay. So we've done that. I'm just gonna need to create a new window. I want you to come over. I need to check because I'm gonna load some environment variables, but I don't want you to see them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I get where do I keep my stuff? And then if I do what's the name of the other app? I want 519. Oops. Where's that gone?
Yeah, we are seeing Heroku for now.
Because I don't want to. I'm going to show you, but I don't want to share secret keys with you by accident.
Okay.
So I'm about to run this command, but I'm just running it off to the side, which will get me all the config environments for the environment variables for.
Yeah, I'm thinking like this is such a cool exercise because you can see how much power you have in the configuration. Like you can deep dive really into gems and do whatever you want to change the configuration of your application and just understand what's happening. And it's just disabling a warning at the end, but it's super interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Right. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can bring this in a way that doesn't show you all the. So, what you can see is at the very bottom here. Oh, you probably can. I'm sharing secret keys. It's fine. It's only for my review app. But what I have done is
I guess you might have to generate many keys after this.
It'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's just a toy, but somebody will be out there. What I've done, I've set that environment variable in the review app on a one called 519. So 519 is the one that I've been getting to make ignore the review app stuff. So if I have that's this branch. So you can see I've added a config skylight.yaml, and I've done that, and I've set the environment variable on here. So if you look at the build for this, whereas so rate gas at precompile,
and
so
we don't
working.
have yeah, nice.
Okay, so what should I do? Should I tidy this up on the call? Tell you what, let's take a little break.
I was about to say, we've been like over half an hour now. We can
More
take a
than
break.
That. Yeah. So should we come back at 25 past, and I'll just tidy this.
Let's do 5 minutes, 26, and we come back.
I will put up. Okay, folks, we'll see you back here in 5 minutes.
Bye.
I'll put the banner up. See how this works. Oh, let me not the banner. How do I do it? Let us know. Be back in 5.
Nice. I love it.
And then I.
See you in 5.
That's not where we want. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll figure this out as well. Okay, see you soon. Hello, everybody. I'm back, and let's add Jose back.
Hi.
See if we missed this. Right, I'm just doing some rebasing. That's not the right thing. This is the one with no. That's. Oh, I need to add the screen in. Okay.
There you
Okay.
go.
So.
So what are we doing then? Yes. Okay. It's Jose.Blanco.
Thank you.
Nice.
So even though this is my personal project, I'm still a stickler for commit messages and stuff. I just think it's a good practice.
I noticed you missed one thing actually.
Go on, tell me.
And I'm surprised. It's the emoji in the title of the PR.
Interesting. So I didn't because
you didn't?
It's in the PR.
No way. Okay.
But not in the commit message. So I used to work. There used to be somebody at ThoughtBot called George Brocklehurst.
Mm-hmm.
I think he works at GitHub now. And he said, "Can you please not put emojis in your commit messages because they sometimes they don't render nicely in the terminal because some of them are like multi-byte, and so it makes things look weird."
Okay.
So I said, okay.
Do you think it will be interesting actually sharing I know there is some guidelines about emojis.
Yeah.
I think that will be interesting. Just to share it.
While this is deploying, we can look at. So Shane says that. Let me see. Let me do this trick because
actually someone. Oh, nice. That's cool.
A multi-byte thing has got to be fixed by now. This is maybe. I think it depends on the terminal you're using. I'm a big fan of stock applications. So I'm using Terminal app. So it might be on iTerm 2 or Alacrity or whatever terminal emulator you're using that it is fixed. And it might just be, yeah, I think it just depends on the terminal emulator you're using. But yeah, I was surprised. But maybe we should see. If somebody puts a multi-byte emoji in the chat, let's see if we can, what it does on the terminal, see what happens. I've still got the Back in 5 banner up. I'm already back.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I didn't notice.
Where's the banners? Okay, hide. Okay. So this is built. Oh, this is built now. It's deployed. So if we look at this one that's just deployed, the latest build, and we can still see that. Where has it gone? Rake assets precompiled.
Yeah, and it's gone. Yeah.
What I like to do as well is that I like to check everything's still working okay. So when you use a Suspenders app, it comes with a neat little script called Setup Review App, which is super cool. So it does a couple of things. So you give it a review app number, and then it goes off and it creates a backup of your staging database, and then it restores that backup from staging into your into my review app, migrates everything, scales up the worker because we need worker, and then restarts everything. So it just kind of makes sure you've got like a nice set of data to go with.
And that's included in Suspenders, you said?
Yeah, that's in Suspenders.
Nice.
So I can do setup review app and give it the review app number, which is 519. And it'll just make sure we have data to.
That's so cool, actually. I didn't know.
Oh. So I've been a big fan of Suspenders since before I joined ThoughtBot. And so I did use it to create Radfords in the first place, this application.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you set up for first time this repository? How many years ago you said?
Right. If my git through was better, I could find the initial commit. How do I? Okay. Search git commit log. Right. I have to search git commit by commit message. Okay. Because I've definitely just called it initial, haven't I?
Okay.
2011.
11. Oh wow. 13 years
13.
ago.
Yeah.
Young Rob.
Even 13 years ago, I don't think he was that young. Yeah. Okay. So
done. So what happens here? PG tries, schema migrations. Okay. So all is set up then. Yeah.
By the way, I reused this tool called BAT, which is like cat, but it adds like the line numbers and stuff and adds syntax highlighting. It's beautiful. I think I saw Aaron Patterson using it on a stream, and I was like, I like that. It's much better than cat. So
that's cool actually.
Okay, so now if we do Heroku open -a
519 was?
Yeah, but I have to remember the name of it. Radford's, what do I call it? Radford's QA PR 519, because I'm lazy. So here we have it. So now I can do like I like to do a quick test. So like add something.
Oh, so you do, okay. A bit of QA testing.
Yeah, just because the tests are a bit fragile. I know this hasn't, we haven't really tested anything apart from the configuration, but sometimes because it's that old and the tests around this particular part, I'm not happy with. There's a gap around this, especially if it's a core part of the application. There's a gap in the tests around the payments.
Okay.
So I'm going to use here the Stripe testing card because I'm using Stripe for my payments. So that works. There'll be an email waiting for me somewhere to say that worked. So that's fine. I'm happy. So let's update our. So I've code reviewed it. It's reviewed. Oh, we didn't move it to code review. This is how anal I am about stuff. Where's that pull request?
Krakow Dask says that he's been inspired by yourself, Rob, to chase down the first race project, his first race project.
Let's find it here.
And it's from 2011 too. Only 6 gems in the gem.
How does it only have 6 gems? Like, are you willing to share the repo with us, Demeter? Okay. Let's do something.
Go Walla, was that?
Oh, Go Walla. Yes, I've been looking for a tangent in this call. So, Go Walla. Have you ever heard of Foursquare?
Foursquare, yeah.
Okay, so Foursquare and Go Walla used to be competitors, but Go Walla was more like you could pick up items at places and drop them down, and like you could only carry so many things. Okay. So like you could pick up like there might be like a little frisbee icon somewhere, and so like if you check in at enough places, you could pick it up. But then then there'd be rare items and stuff, and it was more of a game than Foursquare is. And Foursquare's become more like business oriented because gotta make that money.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can. I wonder what it was doing. So from those gems, it's definitely something. It's going to be something with events and doing something with locations in a Rails app. Interesting.
Yeah, if you can highlight the next comment, actually, yeah, there you go.
Nice.
What for a startup week? Nice. That's so cool.
Okay, so I've moved to the code review column, right? So also as part of Suspenders, you get a deploy script.
Nice.
What I should do first though is merge this branch because it's past code review. Let me just check my build. The build is green.
Nice.
using Circle CI and Hound. We'll take Hound out. I think nowadays we just use Standard, but it's from the days before Rubocop and Standard. Well, maybe it does use Rubocop underneath. Yeah, it does use Rubocop. So what I'll do is git, just check it's up to date. So up is from, I'll have to explain all my things now. So from thoughtbots.files, there is some git aliases. So if I do git config, what is it? Git config -L?
Yeah.
Unless you config. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, it's not even in here. Up isn't in here. So up is actually part of, it's easier.
Maybe you have your own configuration.
It's in there, but it's not in the aliases. I think it's a script. But what it does underneath is it does git fetch and git rebase origin name. That's what it does.
Okay.
So when I do g up, it fetches the latest from the repository and then rebases. But it's up to date. So then there's another one called merge branch, which checks out main and merges in your branch for you.
Nice.
And then I can git push, and I can git delete branch, make Skylight review. Okay, what I would normally do at this point is wait for the build, but it's a little bit too slow to be doing that on here, and I'm happy that it's likely to pass. This time it'll definitely break because of that. But now what I want to do, if I now look at bin deploy, so what this does is it takes your current branch and it takes either a value you pass in, thank you, and then either takes a value you pass in or defaults to staging, and then pushes the current branch, pushes to that environment that you've given your current branch to master, runs db migrate, and then restarts the dyno. So if I do deploy, because I'm not going to specify anything, it'll deploy staging. Okay. And so this is to kind of, if you want to deploy to production, you have to tell it to deploy to production.
So you pass like a flag and say production, and that's it, right?
I could do that.
Okay, that's it. Okay, cool. Nice.
And what it looks at is if I do git remote, it looks at my Heroku, the name of these
okay.
remotes.
Yep. Yeah.
So if I do deploy production, oh, whoops. I just do deploy.
I see this kind of setup in all of our projects, I would say. Like it's kind of a standard. Yeah.
So what we want to look out for here is when it asset pre-compiles.
We don't see the warning.
I think we will though, because we haven't set the
in the production.
Yeah. Running. Oh, so we have enabled the gem there. That's interesting. But I don't want to enable the gem here, I think.
So, but hold on a second. The warning is gone.
Yeah, we have this different warning. So I'll show you. I can show you why. While that's doing its thing over there. So when you do this activate here, this first if, that's looking for, it assumes that it is enabled unless you give it a environment variable called Skylight _enabled false.
Okay.
So like all this is like, it's kind of a bit bike shitty because all I'm trying to do is, the objective is I want to reduce I have a lot of warnings in these logs.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to just reduce the noise because I know I need to upgrade Ruby because we're using Ruby 2.5.9.
Yes. So I was trying, like, just a bit of a comment. Like I was trying to set up the project before, and it doesn't even run in my Ruby mine. I set up like Ruby 2.5.9, and when I try to set up that version of Ruby in Ruby mine, it shows the first time and then it crashes. When I try to set up, I was like, oh my God, Rob, not even.
This is why you need to, this is why you do your upgrades, everybody. This is why you keep on top of stuff. Exactly. This is why you should enable depend-about and things and keep on top of all the Ruby news.
So I had to download Visual Studio Code just in case. But if I have to share, it's going to be a mess.
So what I'm going to do is I know that I'm going to set the config variable on Radford's staging to false. So that's set. And so I'm just going to force git push. I'm going to force a push to staging. Yeah, that should do it. To force it to rebuild.
Okay.
So now I expect us to get our original warning.
Okay, let's see.
This builds faster than I expected, actually. It's coming up. Detect and rate tasks.
Yeah. Now.
So there's our original warning.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So what we can do is I can do when this finishes.
So let's recap a bit of what the whole situation, what we have right now. So in local development, we are not seeing any warning because that's set up.
Yeah.
We have pushed the configuration and merge that change as well as a skylight.yaml.
Yeah.
And now we are rebuilding the app in staging, the review app in staging, but we are still getting the warning. So we need to figure out what to do next to switch off this warning.
So what you can do on Heroku is you can SSH onto the box by doing Heroku exec.
Okay.
So you can staging. Yeah, I did mean that. Run this command. Okay.
Can I ask you, Rob, like, is this like a free tier of Heroku, or you are actually? They used to offer credits, right? I remember.
So no, I don't think there is a free tier anymore. I'm paying something a month, but I just see it as like paying for my hobby, really, and to be something to trick around with. It could be like we started having conversations about like internally thought about do we start looking at fly.io, do we start looking at render, and especially like with Rails 8 with like Kamal being in there and there's going to be a Docker file, do we start looking like Docker's becoming more of the mainstream for Rails development, and like I know a lot of organizations use it and see it's like it's table stakes for them to use Docker. Like it's like should we be looking at containerized deploys and things like that? So I think that's an interesting way to go. I think it's been around for a long time, and so I think it's just stabilized to the point where people can use it a bit more.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of conversations around Kamal. I haven't used it myself actually yet. But I've seen a lot of conversations in Reddit, especially about Kamal.
But that's eventually. I want to get this. Hopefully, it was quick enough where we can turn this in because I want it to use like Rails defaults, and so I'm expecting that at some point a Rails default is going to be Kamal or something similar. So eventually we can have a play with that. There's also, I know you're a fan of this book as well, the Dave Copeland book. Sustainable Web Development with Rails.
Yeah.
He's written one called
the Docker one. Yeah, I have it actually. Yeah.
So that's on my list. Let me find it. Let me put it on the stream.
Is sustainable dev environments with Docker and Bash.
Okay.
I'm actually reading it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's not like it's a thin book. Like you can go through it like pretty quickly.
I really enjoyed this. Well, I've not read this one. Sorry. I really enjoyed Sustainable Web Development with on Rails. It ties a lot with how we build our Rails apps at ThoughtBot.
Yes.
What David puts in his service layer, we tend to put the same thing, but we call them form objects.
I was about to say like those kind of patterns. You can see that they are very alike.
But the main thing is that like you have a layer between your controller and your models, and they're always active models usually. So they kind of look like Rails, but they're Rails objects, not Rails, Ruby objects.
Like Ruby objects, like pure Ruby objects, yeah.
So there's actually a bit in. Let's do a little sidetrack. So no, let's finish this, and then we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually on the staging environment box. I've SSH'd there. So if I do, you can see the files, and so we can see this is in my root directory. So we can see like if I do lsconfig, my Skylight. Let me do this.
So you are now SSH in the staging app, right? Yes. Okay,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can see here we have the skylight.yaml.
Yeah.
And if I cat that config the skylight.yaml, we have that. But what we don't have is echo skylight.
Like the environment variable.
Yeah, I'm just going to check that. So I'm just checking I'm using the right syntax because my bash isn't, because I've not read that book yet, so I don't know my bash yet. So why don't I just do env? Okay. All right, it definitely just spilling stuff out here. So I have to change some keys. Okay.
Yes.
Where's my Skylight one? The one I just set. What I should have done. Anyway, I'm going to come out of this now. I'm going to clear this screen. Okay. Okay, I'm going to come out of here. So, but we know that's, so we need to set the variable. So if we do config,
but we did config set before, right?
We did it for, there's two keys. One was to disable, let me write this and then I'll come back. Okay, so the first one was to stop it going down this branch of the code. So we did Skylight enabled false, which means now it goes to here. So it goes, is this the development environment? No, it's running in production. So then it goes, okay, is it the test environment? No. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, but we haven't. But then when it looks to load the user config, it doesn't know where the user config lives. So that's the second environment variable that we need to set. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I need to do config set equal to config skylight.yaml, and the application is Radford's staging. So now, if I do another force push, I know everything's up to date. That's why I'm trying to force the push. It might be because the force release. How can I rebuild? How do you get Heroku to rebuild? Anybody?
A bit of help in the comments, please.
Heroku force rebuild.
Yeah. Compile with a push or change. Oh, one person is just saying do an empty commit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then what I'll do, yeah, it's because it's on main. What I'll do, this is what I'll do. Let's create a new branch called force deploy, git check-in, allow empty -n, force deploy, and what I can do is git push staging force deploy. What I can show you here is if I do run the deploy script, it'll deploy this branch. So staging.
Okay, let's see.
If this doesn't work, then I'm unsure how we. No, it's fine. It's fine. If we've not got to that part yet.
Oh yeah.
There.
Yeah. Okay.
No warning.
Yeah. That's cool.
Nice.
Nice.
I like the fact that just me and you sat here on this call. We've spent an hour just trying to remove like a warning. Thank you. Trying to remove a warning that has like little to no like value to anybody apart from it was slightly annoying me in my. Thank you. Yeah. But I just want you to think about, I've just been tinkering about on this like bits, like half an hour here, half an hour there for like the last week.
Okay.
It's just like while I'm waiting for a build or like while I'm waiting for somebody to join a call, just like, right, I wonder if
What I said before, like some, as you said, like it doesn't add much value aside of your own sanity of not seeing the warning that is bothering you.
Yeah.
But it adds value in a way of now you know how it works, and there is a lot of config that you wouldn't know how to do it if you don't deep dive in these kind of things. So that curiosity is really good.
I think one of the things as well, like it gave me a chance to play with Binding.pry because I'd seen a talk from RailsConf 2021 recently where somebody was talking about all the things you can do with pry, and I know that Stan Lowe had been doing stuff with debugger, and I was just like, all right, I just want to feel a bit more confident with the debugger. So I got to play with this, but then like I did think about. So I was like, why can't I set these values from? Like I can set this value from an environment variable, but I can't set this one.
This one.
That seems like a strange imbalance. So this is an old version of the gem as well. So it's like,
I was about to say, yeah.
I will raise a pull request to kind of add that in because it'd be a nice thing for somebody. Like I shouldn't have to set like different environment variables to kind of.
I'm a bit surprised you have to go through all this hassle to actually stop the warning. I wonder if in the new versions of the gem you can just set the environment bar and that's it. Like,
should we have a look?
Yeah, that would be interesting actually. So what is bank gem in your search? Like, just to explain as well. Like, you have so many shortcuts that I think are interesting.
Okay, so this is Alfred, and so by default, Alfred will search the web, and I use DuckDuckGo as my default.
Like the search engine.
Yeah, so it's actually from DuckDuckGo. So if I go to if I search DuckDuckGo on DuckDuckGo, I wonder if I can. Let me make this big again. So there's things called. I wonder if we can find them. They're called like there's a whole bunch of them, but I wonder how you. Here you go. If you put an exclamation mark into here, let me get rid of this. Okay. So it's actually a shortcut from DuckDuckGo, and so you can search for like Ruby gems, and so the short. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted you to do. Do I search down here? Okay, search bangs. So there's different ones you can put. So like I put bang gem, and then that searches.
Oh wow! Okay. That's so cool.
Like, and if like, I found out recently that DuckDuckGo is backed by Bing, and sometimes you won't find what you want. So if you put G, it'll go to Google. What other ones do I use? I think they're the two I use the most. I think you can roll. You can roll. I've used this one. You can get it to search. You can get it to search D&D Beyond. So you can do
nice.
D&D. So you can do like D&D Dwarf.
Oh, that's so.
And
cool.
it'll go off to D&D Beyond. And
so, are you also like a big D&D fan?
Yes, I used to play with some folks from ThoughtBot when we still had the London office, and we did for a little bit after we went remote. But then our game master found it was too much work, and I'm plucking up the courage to run a game. So I'm almost there. I'm going to run a game with my friends first, and then my plan is to run a game with our team. Because
that will be amazing. So I had so much fun during the hackathon of ThoughtBot actually playing Dungeons and Dragons. Was cool.
But I think it's just nobody. I think my big thing is I worry that I'll do it wrong. And I was thinking to myself, well, nobody will know if you're doing it wrong. Just change the rules. Like nobody cares, especially if it's new players.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, thank you for explaining the command.
So actually, what version am I on here? I do know because I checked out something. Let me have a look in my in here. Skylight in. Oh, I am using the latest version. I don't know what I'm going on about. So maybe it doesn't.
Okay.
I thought it was on 10 something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how come you have such old versions of Ruby and Rails and you have the last one of Skylight?
Because I'm still using Dependabot. So
Dependabot is actually doing the upgrades for you. Like
yeah. So, but some of them still work, but others don't. So yeah, maybe I should raise a pull request against Skylight to get that done.
That will be
so
nice.
For next time. Maybe that's what we'll do in 2 weeks when I'm available again to do this. Or maybe we could do it now. Let's do it. Let's get this deployed and maybe we'll look at raising a pull request.
Yeah, we can have
a look. That.
Yeah.
Right, so we deployed to staging successfully. And right, let's get rid of that. 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 Okay, we're here.
Yeah.
So acceptance testing on staging. Okay. So again, there's somebody says hi, Mike. Hi, what team in chat?
Hello, Mike.
So now so if we do Heroku open -a. What I also need to do is put my hand in my pocket and buy some domains for this because it's still running on like under Heroku app.
Okay.
But again, I'm just going to do the quick test. I need to get customerexample.com. Always use example.com because it's listed as a special place where stuff won't go. Whereas other stuff, if you use test.com, I forget where test.com actually goes, but yeah.
So you mean that it's an actual domain, test.com?
Yeah. So if you go to example.com, it says it's specifically saved. But if you go to test.com, I don't even know what this is going to do. This could be this could be not safe for work. Let's find out. I don't know. It's not going to do something. Yeah,
that will be a highlight of the stream.
Yeah, it does something. But example.com is reserved for testing purposes. Okay. Use the Stripe testing card. Place my order. Okay. And so that works. So I'm happy that we can move this to accepted. When did I last do something? April. Okay. Oh, this is something I was using yesterday. Archive. Delete. Okay. So now, again, it's dead easy to using that deploy script that Suspenders gives you. We can do deploy production.
Nice.
So this time we should get the message we saw originally on staging, which is to say that it's enabled, that Skylight is enabled, and that's what we want for production. So keep going, and clearing. Okay, we detect and rate tasks, and then we'll get quick assets pre-compile. Skylight agent enabled, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
Okay,
nice.
So that's fine. Okay, so that's done.
So all is good. Yeah. No, sorry, I was just checking again.
So 45 minutes left. So what I'd like to do with production deploys, I tend to just make sure the app's booted up. Like this is what I would do for client stuff as well, because if the users are there like to kind of test it for you. And it's just my staging is like a copy of production.
Mm-hmm.
So what I might do, so I do like Heroku. So there is a gem, a script called parity, where normally you can do like production open. But I wonder if I just do gem install. I think it might just be because I haven't installed it on Ruby 2.5.9.
Yeah, I had to install it. Actually, I had to Google a little bit and run the command with a flag as well.
Yeah,
because in MacBook they break in the new ones.
Let's see if I still got that actually. There you
are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. That, and I had to install also to run a command for bundle, to install like a very old version of bundle.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
Go on, keep talking. That's taking. Oh no, it's just as I said, it's taking too long. It's decided to finish.
Okay, we can continue. Don't worry. It was just
right,
my adventure trying to get your app running.
I should put it in the README really, if that's right. So production open. So that's opened it in production, and I'm happy that's booted up. And I don't want to be placing production orders because I can't be affording these jams. But so let me just, if I do copy list, shipped week of 2024-07. What day did 13th, 14th, 15th, the 8th? Did we start on the 8th?
Oh. Okay. The week. Okay. Nice.
And so for folks back home, this is our like base board that we use for it's like a default when running projects. And so what we tend to do, so we can keep a track on velocity, we do it dead simply, like what's the average over the last 3 weeks? That gives us a good idea of being able to give an estimate. So we kind of keep the last 3 weeks worth of work, and then we can set a good enough estimate. We find that's pretty much as good as you're going to get, really. It's all you need to have.
I guess like if this board is public, you can actually duplicate it and just use this Kanban board for your own projects.
Oh, well, even better than that. It's freely available on the ThoughtBot Trello.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I meant. Like you can just go there and duplicate.
Let me see. Let me put a link in the chat. Nice. There you go. I'm learning how to use the streams.
Nice.
So lovely. So, shall we look to make a pull request on? That'd be an interesting thing to do.
Let's do one. Like, would you like to have again a little 5 minutes? We've been over a half an hour again.
Yes. Thank you, Jose. Okay, we'll come back at 10 past the hour. We'll be back in 5 minutes, folks.
Hello, everyone.
Hello again. Greetings, traveller. Right. Turn the banner off this time because we're back.
We have how many minutes? 35 minutes, more or less.
Yes. There's loads of banners we can add here. Let's say hi in the chat. Okay, so where we left off, we were saying that in the Skylight core gem, it'd be nice if you could disable the env warning in the same way that you disable the dev warning. That's what we were saying, wasn't it?
Yep.
So I have a copy of the gem locally.
Oh, you already okay.
For reasons I don't even remember why. So if I go to Skylight Ruby, maybe I need to get another one. So if I go to, let's go to Skylight.io. Oh, what's in there? Oh no, I don't know what. Okay, if I go to Skylight.io and then do GitHub repo clone Skylight.io/Skylight core. It doesn't exist.
Doesn't GraphQL.
Maybe I think it is in.
Let me
I think
check.
it's part of this.
Skylight.io repo. Oh.
I think it's in here. I think it's part of the Skylight Ruby.
Gem, the Skylight, yeah, Skylight Ruby, yeah.
Is it? Where's core?
So it's called Skylight Ruby.
Yes. Oh, there it is. But here, there's a directory called Skylight core. And this is what we want to change. Okay, so let me git checkout main. Okay. Let's just see where we are in terms of.
Okay. The only thing, it looks like in the repo, like they don't. Well, there are issues open and pull requests actually. But it says if you have a bug report or a feature, please contact us at support. But we can open up pull requests anyway.
If a member can email them to let them know. Right. Okay. We get the comments open. Okay. So. If you have a bug request or feature you'd like to request, please go.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
So let's have a look. There's a contributing.md. So that's what that says.
Yeah.
I keep accidentally entering Vim mode, and I don't know how I do it. Okay. If you've got a bug report or have a feature you'd like to request, please come. For contributing, please sign the CLA. In general, we reckon it speak with us about any issue like that, so we can make sure we're on the same page. We have many CI build configurations that must pass in order to merge a pull request. You can run these individual configurations locally by running example. The other proves that you have both GitLab runner and Docker installed. Okay.
Do you have GitLab runner?
No, I don't.
I never use it.
Okay. So, what is this document? Exactly, CLA.
What does CLA stand for?
What does CLA stand for?
Many
copyright
things.
licensing it.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't know. Let's find out. It might say in here. Contributor license.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. I think it's saying that, like, I agree that so I'm handing over this to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm definitely not putting my mailing address on this on the stream. Excuse me, man.
We've seen it already. But we are gonna say
not
hello.
Not where I live.
No, where you live now.
Play some hold music.
Yeah.
Phone number. Wow. Okay.
That's quite a lot of info. I'm pretty sure people maybe doesn't contribute much just because of all the information you need to input.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I have complied. A request. Okay, where am I at now? Thank you. I feel my legal obligation. Let's. Okay.
We need to celebrate every single little win.
It's good, right? Okay, where am I now?
Oh, one thing, like in the banner is still up, so we cannot see the bottom of the screen.
Lovely. Okay. Hide. Okay.
There you go now. Nice.
Okay, so where am I? Where is Skylight? Where's Skylight Core gone? So this is why, yes, I think Skylight Core disappeared at some point. So like, so you know how I was looking in Ruby gems?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I'm on the latest version of Skylight Core.
Yeah.
But I think Skylight Core, like there used to be another, Skylight Ruby used to include another gem called Skylight Core. And they've since, I've got my little thing up here. I don't want this up here because I can see. Do people want to see the 3 times?
Yeah, the tuple.
Okay. So now I think it works differently. I think this is what.
It's still there, no? Oh, specs, config YAML.
But it's been moved. It's somewhere. It lives somewhere else now. So before, if I do git check, if I go back to where I was, so this is the state I was in. And if I look at, if I do this, if I look for this, you see it's in this Skylight Core directory.
Oh, yes.
Whereas before, it's now in the, nowadays, this is the more modern version. It lives in the lib Skylight.
Yeah.
So something hasn't, it's moved, but I think the behavior is still the same.
Yeah, because you said in the last version of it, like it's just.
Yeah. So I must have been, yeah. So at some point they've just brought it into the Ruby, Skylight Ruby. So, there's some unit tests. All right, okay. So
let's have a look at the tests, yeah.
And
the user config as well.
Okay. I need to gem install.
Ooh.
I probably just haven't got it for this version of Rails. Need to bundle. No, that's not how you do it, is it, with a gem? Isn't it?
Yeah, bundle install, I guess.
Okay. I thought if I did bundle on its own, it would just do it. Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, yeah, of course.
Oh,
of course. What is this?
Use SQLite. But I don't have SQLite. Like I don't have SQLite. Like. No, it's installed. I've got it installed. So I've got the. I bet I have to set some
configuration.
Yeah. Do I want to be doing this now? Do I want to be doing this here? I don't think I want to. No, this is for another time now. I think this is for another time. Yeah. But interesting. Because I'm going to have to set some flags and it's just going to spend time playing with flags.
Yeah, we have 25 minutes.
Yeah. For whoever I've got lined up next, who I forget. Whoops. Yeah. So maybe I'll take you through what we've got lined up. So these orange ones are for blocked cards, and so when I run
So also one question: are you planning to update also Rails version and Ruby version? When are you planning to do that?
bit by bit. I'm just
Okay.
trying to so. Yeah, I have got. I'll show you. So in here.
So you have this in order already of importance, let's say, for the project? No, okay.
This is. I have got. So I know that it's more important than the stuff that's in here. Discussions, ideas. This is stuff I want to work on in the immediate future.
Okay.
So I've got it to bump to Rails 6.
At least, okay.
Yeah, I've got a load of stuff I want to kind of get out of the way. So what I keep doing is I like this. I'll move this down to the bottom in a minute because when I run the build in Circle CI, can I close this, please? When I run the test suite, I get all these things here. These warnings.
Yeah.
And I like my test suite to be green dots.
Okay.
Just green dots. And so I've made a little note about warning, this is deprecated. And when I've looked into this, it's to do with the version of Bundler, but I can't do anything about the version of Bundler yet because it's not compatible with the you can try and bump Bundler. Bundle. Anybody remember how Bundler?
Just to bump the version, you mean?
Yeah, the local one.
I think I have.
I wonder if I hope this how to upgrade to Bundler 2. First, run gem install version or switch. There's just
I think it's just gem install bundle dash version and then the version you want to pass it.
I think you do this bundle update dash bundler. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing.
You need to go to your yeah, but big. Upgrading applications from bundle 1 to bundle 2. Bundle update. That's the bundle. I don't know. Before, when I was trying to run the application, I had to do gem install bundle version 2.327, I think.
So I've got 1.14.5 there.
Okay, and yeah, that's also I did something for that actually.
Malformed number string. Maybe I do have to put the version.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I had to install also version 1.
I don't want to kind of go too. I don't want to. Do I? What was I on 1.4? What am I on 1.14.5?
Yeah.
Robert, why am I not even on 1.14.6? Bundler. So 1.14.6. What's it expecting?
Maybe dash V. I don't know. Like V for victory.
Okay. I'll update the locked version of Bundler to the invoked Bundler version. So I think you have to be using. Sorry, let me. That was unhelpful. What I just did.
Okay, update the locked version to the invoked.
So I think if I have to be using the current, so I have to do gem install.
Exactly.
Bundler -B1 14.6.
That's what I did before for version 1 and version 2.
So let's see what happens here.
And it took a while like this as well, like without any feedback.
Nice. So,
I mean, this is how development is. Like whoever is watching, like for sure, they suffer this so many times.
this is where you have the side conversations. So there was something we were going to talk about before. Oh yeah, a while ago, I said that there's a particular, when we were talking about sustainable web development with Rails, there's a particular piece of code which is prime for that. So this is the order controller. And so when you create an order, it, for some reason, Rob back in 2014, 10 years ago, Rob back when he was still in his 20s, thought that it would be a good idea to use exceptions for the flow. Oh, sorry, we might have some comments that I've missed. No, we haven't.
No.
Rob thought it'd be good to use exceptions for flow handling. So instead of just putting if order dot save, do something, I've decided to use exception handling. And so it's not idiomatic Rails. So it's harder for somebody coming to the code base to do something with. And I've kind of got like, I'm not sure when I did this, I think the idea of like this service layer, service object concept didn't really have a name, and folks were doing loads of different things. Like the term hexagonal Rails was being thrown around, which eventually became the service layer. And so these bits where it's like saving and then building.
Yeah. Order builder.build. Okay, so that's like kind of your service object back on the.
So these are all it deals with is the side effects of the service object. So in David Copeland's book, he says like, okay, save the thing to the database and then deal with the side effects. So the side effects of creating an order is you charge the customer and then you send them an email. So there's all sorts of things about taking the payment and stuff like that, about when to do it. And there's loads of stuff that can be done in here, but really all this the order builder and saving the order in the database, if I go back, should all be in one place and kind of look like a Rails object. So that's a key thing that I want to look at some point, just because it's a nice little place to look at the pattern.
I remember in the book, actually, he also grabs the result into a result object. If he doesn't, if it's invalid, it will return a result object saying A is invalid. If it's valid, it will just say, okay, it's a valid object.
I like that idea, but I've never used it in production. And so it's that thing is like, is it idiomatic? Like, but you have to start somewhere for something to become idiomatic. Like, if a new Rails developer comes on, are they going to understand that exists? Like, I try to keep things as close to looking like a out of the box Rails application as possible, just to kind of avoid that unnecessary overhead from folks.
Yeah, I think my opinion, I haven't been coding as long as you've been. Like, as a new developer at the beginning, like a service object, as in the book without the result class, is clear enough to see what was happening there and to encapsulate all that logic that you don't want to have in your controller. More than that is, as you said, maybe a bit of an overhead. But
but that's what it's all about, because when you're not writing code for the computer, you're writing code for the next person who comes along.
Exactly,
and so that's what you need to make it clear what's going on. And I was talking to somebody at Brighton Ruby about experimenting with stuff, and like we talking. So this is a guy called Joel Draper. He writes the Flex gem, which is kind of a templating gem for Ruby. And we're talking about, he's we were talking about the need for experimentation and stuff like that, and the kind of the conversation Rachel got to was like, he's like that person writing the indie album, like the experimental music album, but like the rest of us are like over here in the mainstream, and like we pick this stuff from the experimental stuff eventually becomes the mainstream, but like 80% of us are here in the middle, and so our job is like we can go experiment on the sides, but like day to day we're like, okay, we need the stuff that's kind of sorry, I got distracted by Svenja's comment, but we need, it's kind of like how Apple, like Sherlock stuff, like you'll see like features are built by other organizations and then Apple builds them into their ecosystem. And we're seeing that with like how the Rails core team is like approaching like Kamal and Docker. Like it's been around for a long time and now they're bringing it into the mainstream. Even like Rubocop is coming in Rails state with like an opinion there and stuff like that. So I think we have to write the Rails, especially as a consultancy like Thoughtbot, that's easier for the next person to read.
Yeah.
Right. What did Svenja say? Svenja said, speaking about making something clear, do you use comments or do you feel that everything should be as self-explanatory as possible? I've been speaking for a bit, Jose. Do you want to go?
Yeah. I was just reading it and thinking, I think when I was, again, learning how to code, one of the things I like of Ruby is how English idiomatic is. Like, you should see the code and read it in English and know what is happening. So I think, in my opinion, I think it should be as self-explanatory as possible and avoid comments in the code base as much as possible. And also, like, as per documentation, you should have like a good testing suite. So like everything is covered in your test. So if you have any kind of question of what's happening, like the test should be also like quite a good explanation of what's happening in that particular class or whatever. So in my opinion, in a Rails code base, I think everything should be as self-explanatory as possible. But I have to say that in some code bases, I've seen comments for whatever reasons that they need to be explained, because maybe it was something that is not very Rails way, or is something a bit hacky that it needs a bit more of an explanation. And that's also good, of course, because otherwise the next person who picks up that, it will struggle to understand what's happening.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've been bitten so many times by just comments that go out of date. I think we saw before, you have tools like Git blame, which allow you to see when stuff was done and who did it. I do think it should be renamed. Top tip: rename it an alias to Git praise, just to give it a more positive context. So you can Git praise somebody and then have a look, and then but from Vim, I can then go to this. I can see the change that has happened, and then let's see how. And then even Rob 10 years ago was like, why did I do this? Okay, I refactor the create order action. Previously, most of the logic that was required to create orders was contained in the orders controller, which is causing the action to become large and unmaintainable. Well done, Rob. The logic has been extracted from the action into separate classes. And then I also have a Trello card so I can find more context. So that's why it's important to have good comments, good commit messages, because you can I can see what Rob, young, impetuous Rob in his 20s, had in mind at that time. So, and I can go and let's grab this, even grab this card and see. Look, okay, card not found. Card might be on the private board.
It's like so long ago. Come on, Rob.
There's only so much. I tried. So I think like I agree with what Jose said. Like if it's something a bit gnarly or like something that's like you're doing something unexpected, then I would leave a comment. But sometimes you don't realize you're doing stuff unexpected. But yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah,
I think especially in Rails, when you go a bit out of the way, you are like, okay, this needs an explanation, because I mean it's a kind of code smell as well. But maybe it's the only idea you have to do something. So better to explain it.
So Spenya says, what about to do? Any opinions on
to do where, like to do in a open PR that is not in or to do in productions.
It's like here, like some editors will like highlight, so you could do like to do, and there's different ones as well. I don't that will highlight. So like a to do comment, like I've put here.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. I would rather, like, if it's tech dev or a to do, like something you have to do in the future, like just create a ticket in your Kanban board, right? And
I'm happier with that. I would make a reference to it, and maybe I think my editor. Did I want to do Git show? Git. I have something in here that's like Git browse. I believe will open the lineup in GitHub, so I can then, and I think it's even at the permalink stage. Oh, it's at main. But then here you can, if you want to refer to something in a card, you can kind of copy permalink and then go, okay, I want this for later. And because then if it's only in the code, only a subset of your team can see it. Whereas if it's on a card, you can then have that conversation with product owners, the rest of the team, and things like that. There's another comment here from Demeter, Crack of Dust. There's also the to do or die gem, which he's never used. Let's have a look while we're in the chatting stage of the of the show. I'm going to call it the show.
Yeah, why not? Rob souls.
Oh, we may have to cut short early because I've just had that noise in my headphones and my headphones are dying.
Oops. Okay.
That's fine. Actually, I've got loads. We can do 10 minutes. So
let's have a look at the homepage. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Okay. So it's still stick this in your gem file and bundle it. Once required, you can mark to-dos yourself anywhere you like. Okay, to understand why you don't read on.
Yeah.
The awful way you used to procrastinate. In the bad old days, if you had a bit of code you knew you needed to change later, you might leave yourself a code comment to remind yourself to change it. For example, here's the real-world comment that inspired this gem. Nice.
I remember now that this gem, what it does is to raise an error once you reach.
Oh, by this time it reaches the date.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's another thing I've seen in similar to raising an error like that in the again, another reference to the David Copeland book is if he puts like a hack in for something because of like a version, like because of the version of Rails, he needs to like put a monkey patch in until he's on the next version. He'll put in like if Rails version equals raise an exception to tell you put this hack in, go right back and take it out now.
Okay, I don't remember that actually. I need to revisit it. Okay,
that's a cool one. Okay, where are we at? Because maybe we'll just what were we doing? We were here. We were looking
at the bundle update.
The bundle tangent. Right.
Yes.
Let's see. Can I now update bundler? No, I'm going to leave this. I think maybe we finish 7 minutes early because my headphones are making noises. Yeah, we've kind of reached a good point. We're just getting. Svenya's just trying to come up with comments to keep the chat going because she just loves talking to us so much. So yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice streaming. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I felt like I talked a bit much, but I think that was because
you knew a lot of the context of what we were doing.
Yeah, and as well, maybe who have I got lined up next? Let me see who I'm going to bring on next. Let me just create a new window over here so I can see. So I plan to do this again in 2 weeks at the same time. but because I'm away next week, going to watch England win another sporting contest in the cricket against the West Indies.
Oh.
So what am I looking for? Rob live stream. But the week after, I have got somebody lined up to do this in 2 weeks. Anyway, but I'll talk to that person beforehand about setting things up, because it might just be, if we can get it set up on somebody else's machine, that's great, because then that just allows it to swap between the two more easily. And as well, I had a load of context because I've been playing around with it. So maybe next time we will raise a pull request against Skylight, or maybe next time we'll figure out how to update Bundler or something like that, or something else that's on the Trello board.
Yeah, I think I would like to see how you upgrade the Ruby and Rails version. That will be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that will be like a really nice streaming. A great
I've been trying to think about, because I have opinions on AI. I'm leaving the hot takes on AI till the last 5 minutes because that's the bit it deserves. That wasn't even meant to be shady, and it kind of has come out that way. I've been trying to think about how we use AI and stuff. And one of the things I came up with Bright Ruby after chatting to folks was, it'd be cool if we could use AI to do Rails upgrades, because Rails upgrades are just like text replacement, really. And it's about putting the right text in the right place. And like all the problems, like there'd be like a base set of like a dozen or so problems that you should be able to figure out using a large language model. So it'd be interesting to see if we could figure that out somehow, because you want AI to do all the chores and drudge work for you, don't you?
Exactly, like the repetitive tasks.
Mm-hmm.
You can just automate.
Yeah,
that will be cool. Actually, very nice project. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been lovely to see everybody, and hello to the 16 people that are in the various chats I can see. So thank you for following along. We have more on Twitch than we do on YouTube for a change. It's normally the other way around. So
thank you so much.
Goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.